Welcome to Football Weekly here on SK Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio. I'm Andre Huey. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our first show for the year 2021, so Happy New Year to each and every one of you. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, LaShawn Dixon, and we'll be talking football in St. Kitts Nevis. We're looking back at the just concluded SKNFA Premier League, which ended in December. The Women's League, it ended late December, as well as Division 1. All the football competitions seem to have ended in December, so we'll be talking about that. But first, we'll take a break and be right back. You're watching Football Weekly here on SKN Newsline.
The Emergence and Affirmation Summit, a motivational summit that will inspire you to greatness, presented by Vikish Pickering of V Creation, Sunday, January 31st at 3 p.m. at the Kuna Caribbean Conference Center. All attendees will receive affirmations and exercises for the next month that ends with a follow-up. Tickets $100. Dress code fierce and fabulous. For more information, call 765-6798 or visit www.vcreation-inspire.com. It's the Emergence and Affirmation Summit, January 31st at 3 p.m. at the Kuna Caribbean Conference Center. Come and unleash with Vikish.
Come to Vibes Beach Bar and Grill at the Frigate Bay Strip, your place for the best selection of local dishes. Join us for lunch. Mahi-mahi, barbecue ribs, fresh caught snapper, salmon, lobster, and our world-famous Vibes wings at economically sound prices. Dinner is served from the deck or the golden sands of the Frigate Bay Beach. Join us for birthdays, business meetings, or just for fun in a family-friendly environment. Open daily from 11 a.m. Vibes Beach Bar and Grill. Great food, hospitality, entertainment, and good vibes. Call 465-8423 for reservations and inquiries.
I feel good.
Skillex Interactive Voice Response System, a new 24-hour automated call-in service. Access it now at 465-2000 to report faults, receive bill balances, and for the first time ever, you can now make bill payments over the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Access it now by calling 465-2000.
Taste the flavor of succulent barbecue chicken, pork, and ribs. It's Nightlife Barbecue and Grill across the road from Caribbean Cinema in Buckley's. You're sure to taste the best food you ever had. Try their roast breadfruit hot off the grill or swing by during lunchtime for their lunch menu. Oxtail, mutton, stew pork, stew chicken, and more. The nightly session cuisine is the best. Open every day for breakfast and lunch. So when you're hungry and you need somewhere to get some great food, your choice has got to be Nightlife, located across the road from Caribbean Cinemas. Call 664-7439, 667-1596, or 664-5103. Nightlife Barbecue and Grill.
Welcome back to Football Weekly here on SKN Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio. I'm Andre Huey. Again, happy 2021 to you. Hope you will have a better year than 2020 ever was. Well, as I told you, I'm joined by my co-host, LaShawn Dixon. He's sitting on the other desk aside from me. LaShawn, happy New Year to you, and welcome to Football Weekly, the first one for 2021.
Yes, a happy New Year to you too, Adrian, as well as the listening and viewing public. And thanks for having me again for another edition of SKN Football Weekly.
All right. Well, first of all, we want to talk about the SKNFA finals, the Premier League. We finally came to an end with that competition mid-December. There were a lot of, well, first of all, the whole year itself was a tumultuous year when it comes to sports in general because of what was happening with the pandemic. Did you ever thought it would have come to an end, that we would have had the resumption of competition? We had a 7-month suspension eventually since March of last year all the way to September.
Well, I was confident that a solution would have been found, and thankfully, fortunately, that it was indeed in September, and we're able to finish the football season before the end of the year, having all the competitions, the cup competitions, the female and Division 1. So I was always confident, and I was pleased that the FA and the NEOC, all stakeholders came together and found a solution to get football finished and finding a solution for finding winners for each individual league.
And also when you look at the fact that the competitions were competitive, still the same. I mean, we had the women's finals eventually, which took place, as well as the men's finals. We had the youth competitions finishing up Division 1. Talk to us about how you saw the competitions overall, and then we'll get more into details on each one individually.
Well, the competitions, I thought they were good for the most part. The women's, we saw a big upset there. In the Division 1, we saw 2 teams bouncing back from Premier League relegation a few years ago. So I thought the competition was good. We saw St. Paul's overcoming a strong Ramsville Superstars team to win the Premier Division, and they also won the FA Cup. So I thought the competition was good for football in general in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Let's take a look now at the English, not the English Premier League. That is for another day. We're going to take a look at the SKNFA Premier League. Ramsville Superstars finishing on top, but I want you to talk more about the finals. We had the best of final team, Ramsville Superstars, SL Horses and Paul's. Did you expect these two teams to duel it out in the final outcome?
Well, when we had our predictions at the end of the regular season, I did say it would be between Ramsville Superstars and St. Paul's, maybe Keon and one of the other two. And I did pick St. Paul's to go all the way, so I'm pleased that my prediction came to pass. But I thought the finals, it was a good showing for football here in St. Kitts. Game 1, the first half, I felt Ramsville Superstars were the better of the two sides, but in the end, Super Freeman showed up for St. Paul's and carried them across the line in Game 1. And then in Game 2, Freeman again gave them the lead, but Ramsville Superstars, to their credit, they showed some fight. They fought back. They could have taken the lead at some stages, but they failed to find the finishing touch. But St. Paul's again, they took the lead, and they eventually became champions in 2 games, which to be fair to them, they deserved, following their form, following the post-COVID restart. They were the team in form. They had the best player on the park for me for the latter half of the season in Keith Freeman, heads and shoulders above all other players for me in the league post-COVID, and he led St. Paul's not only as their captain but in performance to another Premier Division title.
Well, we want to say congratulations to St. Paul's. It was a hard-fought game, a hard-fought series, and they certainly showed up when it really mattered. We're going to be viewing getting an update on or actually putting an analysis on what actually took place in that finals, both Game 1 and Game 2. But let's talk a little bit about Game 1, because I think Game 2 was the deciding factor, but Game 1 was a competitive encounter. Both teams battled it out, dueled it out. It was 0-0 going into half-time. We didn't know who was going to make the breakthrough.
Yes, as I said, I had to watch Game 1 online, and from what I saw, Ramsville Superstars, I thought they had the better of the chances in the first half. They really made the St. Paul's defense work, but they couldn't find a finishing touch to give them the lead, which would have put the St. Paul's team under some pressure. But they failed to do so. And then in the second half, we saw Freeman scoring, and then I think it was Anthony Keynes getting the second goal to seal it for St. Paul's. I think they showed great character to fight through the 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 difficulty they had in the first half from Rams Village Superstars, but they stuck at it. They played like champions, and we all know champions always find a way, and they found a way and eventually got the lead and doubled the lead and took game one and set up themselves for a clean sweep of the finals.
Indeed. So that game certainly was one that a lot of people look for. It was also a very tense game too. We saw even post-game comments from some of the coaches for Village. It was really passionate, to say the least, just being diplomatic. But there was a lot of tension after game one, and I think a lot of people thought that game two was going to be a showdown, which it really was. It really was a showdown, and as you pointed out, Village fought back. But I want to assess St. Paul's. Let's talk a bit about St. Paul's. They are the champions. They've won the FA Cup as well, so they've really proven themselves to be a formidable team this past season. What is it about St. Paul's that kept them going and put them in a position where they are to be Premier League champions as well as FA Cup champions?
I thought they looked a fitter team than all the others in the Premier Division post-COVID. I don't know what they did in the period when no one could have really.
Well, it was said that they were training when everybody else during the lockdown. They were the first to be training, and as soon as the curfews were lifted, they were out preparing.
It definitely showed that they were heads and shoulders above everyone in all aspects of football, and then you had Keith Freeman being in the form of his life to help them across the line, and then you also had the coaching, which I thought was brilliant after they had a slow start in the Super Sixes, to make a few adjustments after Keith Freeman was shut down against St. Peter's and shut down against Cairn, to make the adjustments to pull him back further and play an out-and-out striker ahead of him. It definitely worked out in their favor, and it you see that they were in a position even in the final game of the Super Six to almost pick who they want to play in the finals. If they had scored another goal, they could have been playing Cairn, but they eventually played Rams Village Superstars, and they were by leaps and bounds ahead of all the competition post-COVID.
And also we see that they did have a bump on the road in the playoffs where they faced Cairn. They lost to Cairn 3-1. We could almost say they almost lost but they did lose their vice captain in that game, which is Jamal Jeffers, which is a major thrust for St. Paul's. I was surprised to see him play in the very next game, and did a very good performance and was able to keep them up. I mean, after that game, you picked St. Paul's to win. Yep. Did you have doubts after them playing Cairn?
Yes, definitely, because they had a 0-0 draw the first game. They lost to Cairn, and the goal they got in that game against Cairn was from the penalty spot. So I thought the teams had figured out Freeman. So I thought that it would have been a battle between Cairn and Village for the finals after that game. But we all know St. Paul's, they came fighting back, and they never gave in, and it came out that they were meant to be the champions and eventually became champions.
All right, let's look a bit at Village. Village Superstars, they were the hot team coming into the playoffs. They won the regular season, essentially. They basically were the champions for the regular season. And I thought in most cases it was Village's to lose. But it turned out that not only did they have challenges in the playoffs itself, but they had an injury issue, which basically came back to haunt them. Was it a case of, they were just too injured and they just couldn't muster up the strength and the ability to defeat St. Paul's, or was it a case where St. Paul's was just better than them?
Well, it's a mixed bag of both in a way. As you said, for the last two regular seasons, Rams Village Superstars have been the best team in St. Kitts and Nevis football by far. No doubts about it. Last season that was cut short. They were the number one team, way ahead of everyone. This season, the same thing. They were the number one team, not as far as ahead as they were the season before, but they still put together a strong regular season. They at the end of the regular season, they suffered a few injuries. While we were doing the commentaries, we at one point we counted up to 11 injuries, some to key players in the team. But later on, as the season wound down, some of the players coming back, and I don't know if heading into the playoff, they were some of these players, if they were rusty, if they were not game ready, but some they would have relied on, did not put in the performance we have come to expect of them, and it although they were able to make it to the finals, it is not the Rams really superstars we've seen in the last 2 to 3 seasons that dominated this league.
Indeed, and it will be interesting to find out what we can expect from them going forward. And of course, we're going to be talking about that. And in the coming weeks, we're going to be looking at the Premier League season that's coming up, which is due to start officially on the 31st of this month, which will be 31st of January. It's actually a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And they will be playing the President's Cup, which I believe now would be St. Paul's and Village.
St. Paul's, St. Peter's.
Because they were the finalists in the FA Cup? Well, I thought because, Village were the...
I think it's St. Paul's.
It's St. Paul's, St. Peter's. Well, I'll double check to make sure. But definitely we know St. Paul's is there because they're both the FA Cup champions and the Premier League champions. So stay with us. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to be talking some more. We're going to kind of give you a review of that game, the penultimate game, which was the game between Village and St. Paul's, Game 2 finals, played in December, and that was the ultimate decider. St. Paul's winning Game 1 2-0, and then winning Game 2 2-1 to seal the Premier League title. And we're also going to be reviewing the Super 6 playoffs, because that was the first time we had the Super 6 playoffs. It was due to happen the previous year, but it didn't. And so we're going to be looking at how we thought the inaugural Super 6 playoffs actually went, and whether or not this augurs well for football in St. Kitts and Nevis, in terms as we look forward to more football coming up, especially with the new season due to start in a matter of weeks. We're going to take a break and be right back. You're watching Football Weekly here on SK Newsline.
Stay abreast with news on St. Martin with SMN News. Visit www.smn-news.com for up-to-date news, scoops, opinions, and hard-hitting facts. SMN News, we tell it like it is. Visit our website www.smn-news.com.
It's the new and improved SK Newsline Android mobile app. With the SK Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the SK Newsline newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search SK Newsline, and download the app today. The SK Newsline mobile app. News on the go. For the finest in pastries and baked products, your only choice has to be Bryden's Bakery, located on Main Street, New Road, St. Peter's. They offer the best in breads, cakes, cheesecakes, cupcakes, cookies, and much more. Visit their cafe and savor breakfast sandwiches, coffee, espresso, and ice cream. Bryden's Bakery also specializes in a variety of healthy breads, cakes, cookies, pies, and pastries for all your special events. Call 667-1505. Opening hours 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays for Ice Cream Sundays. Extended opening hours during the Christmas season. Bryden's Bakery, simply the best.
Banners, commercial signs, decal printing, canvas prints, license plates, posters. We at Multigraphics are dedicated to providing quality products and service to our customers. Our team takes pride in the craftsmanship and is passionate about its work. Every job, large or small, is important. Most of our customers come to us through referrals. That's because our number one priority is service. We serve a wide variety of customers, such as restaurants, retail stores, manufacturers, trucking companies, and many more. Our capabilities include design, production, and installation. How can we help? We are located at Bird Rock at the Woods Right compound. Call us at 869-763-1511 or 784-491-7599. Multi-Graphics.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where service is number one.
Welcome back to SKN Football Weekly. I'm Andre Huey, your host, and this is our first show for 2021, so welcome and Happy New Year. I'm joined by LaShawn Dixon, our co-host. Well, we looked at St. Paul's and Village, the two teams that were in the finals of the SKNFA Premier League last season, which ended with St. Paul's winning Game 1 and 2, eventually winning the Premier League title and the inaugural Super 6 Playoffs tournament. They won that as well, so by virtue of that, so congratulations to St. Paul's. We're going to kind of shift our attention a little bit to the wider playoffs itself. The inaugural Super 6 playoffs took place, and it was certainly a tournament by all standards was a very good tournament, and we saw some really exciting matches. Before we get into that though, I did promise you, and we were having some challenges getting that earlier, but we're going to do that now. We are going to give you the report that was filed for the finals, and in that interview you'll get to hear both coaches, the assistant coach of Village as well as the coach for St. Paul's, and of course we have to talk, and when we come back, LaShawn, we definitely have to talk about Keith Freeman, because he certainly starred the entire season last season, winning the Golden Boot, winning the Man of the Match, several of the Man of the Match awards, winning the Man of the Match of that competition, of that game 2, and also the MVP of the tournament. So certainly Keith Roy was on fire last season, so we're going to talk about him in a bit, but let's hear this report as was filed with St. Paul's winning the Premier League title.
Oxford St. Paul's, the 2019-2020 inaugural Super 6 champions.
SL Horses St. Paul's are the 2019-2020 SKNFA Premier League champions after winning the decisive Game 2 of the best-of-3 final series against Rams Village Superstars 2-1 on Wednesday night at the Warner Park Football Stadium. Once again, it was St. Paul's talisman Keith Freeman who starred on the night, scoring 2 goals in the 13th and 81st minute. The lone goal from Village came from Tahir Hanley in the 67th minute. The match was broadcast live on the SKNFA website. Commentators Al Edwards and Essington Watts.
Right foot in swinging, calling, heads go up, in the back of the net, St. Paul's! St. Paul's! Freeman it looks like, in the net again, 11th minute this time, flicked on, goal to Freeman, goal to St. Paul's.
Oh, what a goal, Freeman again, Al, he's unstoppable, he is unplayable, and you can't defend against this man. He continues to score goals after goals after goals, and that goal will be resonating all over St. Paul's, in Willett Ground, in Wallings Ground, in Charles Ground, Main Street St. Paul's. that goal is reverberating right now.
Clark looped over to Botti. Botti trying to latch onto it. Botti trying to go forward. Tahir in the back of the net. Tahir gets it. Tahir gets it. It's there. Village has equalized. Village has equalized. 1-1.
Game on.
Clear, St. Paul's. Leibert picks it. Leibert, smart back heel. To Nurse. Nurse across field. Clark gets past one man. Clark, send it forward. Freeman is free. You don't want Freeman free. He gets the only player. He bangs it at goal. He hits it in the back of the net. Freeman, Superman, goal!
Well, Superman, as I said, he's unstoppable. He's unplayable. You can't defend against this man. He scores goals after goals after goals, and that must be the most important goal. Well, a player goes down.
Keith Roy Freeman had a blast of a season, winning the man of the match for Wednesday night's match, while also winning the MVP for the Super 6 round robin and the player of the final series. He was awarded by the SKNFA for his achievements. He received a Beats headphone, a 50-inch smart TV, and $500. The game was a tense battle, and a little scuffle close to the end of the match saw two players being sent off, Omar Francis of St. Paul's and Leroy Hanley of Village, both in the 3rd minute of stoppage time. Deontay Liebert of St. Paul's was sent off, also with a red card, in the 84th minute. Coach Iroy Jeffers was obviously elated and winning this title, especially after coming off winning the FA Cup. He laid out the keys to his success this season.
I think the second half was exciting, especially when Village scored their goal to tie it at 1-1. One of my younger players on the team was number 17. He had to get the ball and split the defense. You don't know the ball at the back of the net from the top striker. Now we're here celebrating with the fans and family. We're grateful for that. I want to thank SL Harsford, the community of St. Paul's, the fans them from the different community supporting the team. I want to give them thanks for coming and supporting the team, and Harsford for over the years for the contribution. And the other people them on this side who making the contribution where you don't hear the name call. I'm grateful for that. I thank for the opportunity St. Paul management give me, and we come here to execute and win the 5th trophy for the community and the club and the players.
Meanwhile, assistant coach of Village, Al Richards, praised his players for a good season and thanked team sponsor Rams and the fans.
I think we had a better second half with the changes that we made. We bring in Che experience for us. We got the goal, as I tell you, but we give them an easy goal again. And we lost the championship. But while I'm here, let me say congratulations to St. Paul's team on winning the championship. Also, want to say congratulations to my players. I think we had a long season. Injuries were killing us, But before it to the end, we reached the finals, but we lost. I just want to say thanks to the sponsor, Rams, they've been there for us. And all the other villagers, from West Boston who supported us and the camp. I want to say thanks.
The SKNFA Premier League has now ended, with the plans to get the 2021 season off and running in late January.
All right, so that report there looking at the SKNFA finals, the game 2 between St. Paul's and Village, which St. Paul's won 2-1. That was the deciding game that gave them the title. And of course, as I said, if you're just joining us, you would have missed the earlier part where we spoke extensively about those two games, but you can always go back to watch the video or rewind the video afterwards. We want to now focus attention on the Super 6 playoffs, because this was the inaugural competition. This was the first time the St. Kitts Nevis Football Association hosted the Super 6. It is dubbed the most lucrative sporting event in St. Kitts Nevis' history. The winning team winning $50,000, I have that correct, right, LaShawn? $50,000. We saw prizes that were given out in that report there. You heard about the prizes that Keith Roy Freeman won. We need to talk about Keith Roy before we talk about the playoffs, LaShawn, because he was the Golden Boot winner. So he scored the most goals in regular season. He scored the most goals in the playoffs. He won the most man of the match awards in the entire playoffs. I think it was only one match he didn't win the playoffs, which he didn't win man of the match. It was game 1 of the finals. He won the MVP of the tournament of the Super 6. So he was the best player in the Super 6. He also was the man of the match in the deciding game in game 2. There was nothing on an individual award that was to be won that Keith Roy did not win last season.
Yeah, he definitely did a clean sweep of all the individual awards, major individual awards. He, as I said earlier, he was by far by far and wide the best player in the Premier Division last season. He scored goals, he set up goals, he led his team from the front, he led his team in performances, and I for me those awards were definitely deserved for Freeman. He I don't. He seemed like a man possessed and a man willing to put his body on the line for SL Aswad St. Paul's, and it definitely brings up the question: why is he not in the national team? Or will he be in the next national team for the World Cup qualifiers? But based on his performances, he ought to be, in my opinion.
Well, it will be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, what do you think, though? What could be the factor? And do you expect that things are going to change where that is concerned, that where he may have an opportunity to be featured in the national team?
Well, I'm anticipating whatever the issue is, that it ought to be resolved and come to a probably an arbitration, and to figure it out. So it's find a solution somehow. Because him being in the national team benefits everyone in the football fraternity, and he his performances alone should be enough for him to be selected. Whatever issue there was prior, I'm hoping that our stakeholders involved could get together and find a solution quickly.
Well, we'll see what happens, and we certainly would like to see a talent like that be featured in the national team. Although, and I think some will agree that international football is different from local football. But at the same time, you pick your best players who are on tour, and that are available. And so we do hope that Mr. Freeman will have the opportunity to be featured. I know here at SK Newsline, we have acknowledged his contribution to the sport over the last year and his accomplishments, his achievement. And so we named him the Sports Person of the Year, which is actually the first time we've offered that award, that recognition. And we thought that of all the athletes that were in action in 2020 in St. Kitts and Nevis, Keith Roy Freeman was by far the best of all of them. So we acknowledge him as such. So congratulations to Mr. Freeman in winning the Sports Person of the Year here at SK Newsline. Let's talk about the playoffs. What were your thoughts on Super 6? It's the first one. I remember the first 4 games. The first few games, not a single goal scored. Every game ended 0-0. It was very bizarre.
Yes, as you said, the first 3 games of the Super 6s all ended 0-0. But although it was 0-0, no goals, they were very exciting games. They were games. There were chess matches. You could see coaches trying not to expose their hands too early, and although they lacked goals, they didn't lack any excitement. But as the competition went along, we started to see goals. We saw Spurs coming of age in the Super 6 after barely making the playoffs. They had a shout for the finals for a brief period. We also saw St. Peter's with a big comeback against Spurs, who should have won, who were up 3-2 with.
Yeah, 3-2 with just a few minutes ago. I think it was like it was the 85th minute or thereabouts.
Yes.
Yeah, and St. Peter's came back. Well, that for me was the most exciting game, without a doubt.
So we had some games where we had the long 1-0 Cairn versus St. Peter's. We had the Cairn win against St. Paul's. We had the exciting game between Cairn and Village that could have swung either way. Then we had the game between Village and St. Paul's, the final game where St. Paul's absolutely dominated Village. But all in all, I think the Super 6 was a success. It lived up to the expectations we had. Some teams like Canary, they'll be disappointed the way they performed in the Super 6, but we all know this is a team that always finds a way to come back and always come back stronger than ever, so we can't write them off. But all in all, the Super 6 was we saw some good football, and for me, for the first time excuse me, for the first time them doing it, I thought it was a success.
So definitely congratulations to the Football Association for pulling off an excellent tournament. And there was a question though, and I want to raise it before we move on to the next point, because we did have this discussion prior to the start of the Super Six, and that is the competitiveness. Having a 6-team playoff tournament in a 12-team league, does that water down the competition? Does that water down the Super Six? Does that water down the Premier League? And I think there were different views from various pundits. But based on what we've seen in the first Super Six, would we say that it is indeed having a Super Six makes the competition, makes football competitive in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Yes, because if you just look at it, that Ghana Spurs, they came in as the 6th team in the competition and barely got in. By the way, needed a win in the last game.
The very last game of the season.
And they almost, had it not been for that collapse against St. Peter's, they probably would have been in the finals. So yeah, I would say it's not watered down. It's increased competition. It's more football at a higher level than you would play during the regular season. So I can't fault it. I think it's a good idea. Hopefully going forward, it can remain as competitive as it has been. The teams, the makeup of the teams may change next season. We may have 6 new teams. We may have the same 6. We may have another 6. We may have 3 and another 3. So hopefully come next season and seasons beyond that, we can keep the competitiveness of the league.
Well, we're going to be, and even before we look at that too, we want to see which teams, the teams that didn't make it, teams like Newtown, for example, that are perennial playoff teams, they didn't make it this time around. What do you think? I know we're going to talk more about, the teams ahead of the season, but in your view, you said you might see 6 different teams. We talk about a team like Old Road that surprised everyone and were this close to making it to the playoffs.
Yes, and as I said, Newtown, they are perennial playoff contenders, perennial champions. Last 3 years they haven't been able to make the playoffs. Next season would be a fresh start for them, a fresh start under the new management, new administrators. So that's an opportunity for them to build something towards the Super Six. You also spoke of Old Road, a young team that's developing quite nicely under Coach Morris. We also can't forget teams like Saddlers, who showed a lot of potential during last season, but couldn't put it together in the end, and then had some major injuries to some of their players and fell off. Who else is there? There's also St. Peter's. We can't take eye off St. Peter's, although they were in the 6th this time around. We know they have one of the better coaches in football who can put them, get them kicking and going in the right direction. So next season is something we can look forward to. Who could make the 6? And we all have to remember that the race for the 6 was so close between the 7th, 8th, and the 6th team. So if that momentum goes into next season, we can expect good things on the football pitch.
Well, we again look forward to a competitive start. I think the way the playoffs and the way the season's ended, it has really brought back a lot of excitement to football fans, and we're so happy and so confident, or rather blessed, here in St. Kitts and Nevis to have had football in the midst of a pandemic, when you consider that countries like Jamaica and Trinidad haven't been able to resume their competition. So again, we're thankful for the opportunity. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll talk Division 1 football, and there's so much to talk about with Division 1 football, and we'll of course talk about women's football, with how the season ended generally for football here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm Andre Huey, and we'll be right back after these messages.
the Emergence and Affirmation Summit, a motivational summit that will inspire you to greatness, presented by Vikish Pickering of V Creation. Sunday, January 31st at 3 p.m. at the Kuna Caribbean Conference Center. All attendees will receive affirmations and exercises for the next month that ends with a follow-up. Tickets $100. Dress code fierce and fabulous. For more information, call 765-6798 or visit www.vcreation-inspire.com. It's the Emergence and Affirmation Summit, January 31st at 3 p.m. at the Kuna Caribbean Conference Center. Come and unleash with Vikish.
Come to Vibes Beach Bar and Grill at the Frigate Bay Strip, your place for the best selection of local dishes. Join us for lunch. Mahi-mahi, barbecue ribs, fresh caught snapper, salmon, lobster, and our world-famous Vibes wings at economically sound prices. Dinner is served from the deck or the golden sands of the Frigate Bay Beach. Join us for birthdays, business meetings, or just for fun in a family-friendly environment. Open daily from 11 a.m. Vibes Beach Bar and Grill. Great food, hospitality, entertainment, and good vibes. Call 465-8423 for reservations and inquiries.
I feel good.
Skillex Interactive Voice Response System, a new 24-hour automated call-in service. Access it now at 465-2000 to report faults, receive bill balances, and for the first time ever, you can now make bill payments over the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Access it now by calling 465-2000.
Taste the flavor of succulent barbecue chicken, pork, and ribs. It's Nightlife Barbecue and Grill across the road from Caribbean Cinema in Buckley's. You're sure to taste the best food you ever had. Try their roast breadfruit hot off the grill or swing by during lunchtime for their lunch menu. Oxtail, mutton, stew pork, stew chicken, and more. The nightly session cuisine is the best. Open every day for breakfast and lunch. So when you're hungry and you need somewhere to get some great food, your choice has got to be Nightlife, located across the road from Caribbean Cinemas. Call 664-7439, 667-1596, or 664-5103. Nightlife Barbecue and Grill.
Welcome back to Football Weekly. We're in the final segment of the program. I'm Andre Huey, your host. I'm joined by LaShawn Dixon, my co-host here on the program. We spoke about the playoffs extensively. We looked at the teams that competed in the finals, Village and St. Paul's. We now want to turn our attentions to another league in the SKNFA, and that is the Division 1 League, which was won by Bath United from Nevis. They're going to be one of the teams featured in the Premier League as one of the promoted teams from Division 1 next season. And it was a very exciting finals between Bath and TG Diet Bay Eagles, and Diet Bay will be the other team in the Division 1. Diet Bay will be featured in the Premier League for the second time. Let's just give you highlights of the Division 1 finals in this report that was filed in December for the finals.
Bath United are the SKNFA Division 1 champions after a comprehensive 3-0 victory over TGE Diet Bay Eagles in the finals played at the Warner Park on Thursday. Dejal Myers scored 2 goals, one from the penalty spot and the other in the 60th minute. Rocco Brown scored in the 53rd minute. Myers was rated man of the match. The SKNFA brought the match live on its website www.sknfa.com. Yours truly and LaShawn Dixon were the commentators.
That is a penalty. He will have the chance to put Bath United ahead. Will this be the first goal of the match? Here's Myers, runs up, shoots and scores. Dejal Myers of Bath United has given Bath the lead, 1-0. The team from Nevis Oh, and there he goes. And that's right there in front of the DFB bench. I think the coach of DFB there is remonstrating that, he is agitating the opponents. The ball is played back out, but here comes number 6, shot taken. This is Shari. Oh, what a beautiful save by the goalkeeper, Hassan Harvey, the goalkeeper there for Bath United, again coming in for Bath when it mattered.
The goalkeeper on top of his game. Whenever the back line is breached, he's always there.
And not finding the intended target, or any target for that matter. Here comes Dajal Kelly now, Dajal Myers, I beg your pardon, for DFB, shoots the ball, and hits the upright, gets an opportunity, and finds the back of the net. Dajal Myers, off for Bath United, makes it 3-0 for Bath United. It's a rout in here at the Warner Park in Division 1 finals.
After the match, coach of Bath United, Alex Claxton, praised his young group of players and expects great things from them in the Premier League. He also said this victory means a lot for Nevis and the community of Bath.
We recognize that the game that we played against the Eagles, that one they played a more physical game, and also in terms of the free kick, I recognize that there was something that needed fixing. And so our very next session, I knew what we needed to coach on. And so we made a preparation, one in terms of making sure that we work on our set pieces, and also in terms of working to close on the ball quickly, making sure we pressure the ball and do not give them any time or space to play.
What does this mean for Nevis? Because, to have Bath United back in the Premier League after a long break, it must mean the world to Nevis.
Hey, we did this for the fans. We did this for, supporters. We did this for the parents of the children, because majority of them, are still in the under 17, players. And so we started on a journey probably some, 3-4 years ago, when the team came back down from the Premier Division. A number of players left the team, and so we started working and building. And so today is a very proud moment, not only for me, but for the players as well.
So at the end of the Division 1 season, the teams promoted to the Premier League, Bath United and TGE DFB Eagles. All right, so you hear that report there from filed here on SK Newsline on the Bath United winning the Division 1. LaShawn, you and I, we commentated on that game, Division 1 finals. What were some of the standout things for you in that game?
Well, Myers for Bath United. Also Bath's defense. You could see that there is something they worked on for hours and hours while practicing defending. The goalkeeper was also a standout for me in that game. They although they had the opportunities, they came up second place to Bath quite easily. But I thought Bath would be a team to be reckoned with come next season in the Premier Division. Consider if they can defend like how they defended in that game, if they can do it for majority of the season, they'll be a tough team to contend with in the Premier Division. And going forward, as the coach said, majority of the team is under 17, and if they can stay together and go together, they can be a top tier team in the Premier Division within a few years, which who knows where it can lead to, and hopefully they can remain and hold one head for Nevis.
Well, in my interview with Mr. Claxton, Coach Claxton, after the game, he said two things that stood for me. Of course, one which you pointed out, which is the fact that they are a young team, and that when they got knocked out of the Premier League a few seasons ago, they spent the year rebuilding the team. So they didn't go ahead with the old players and struggled again. They did struggle over the years, but that was because they were using a lot of young players, and you see a lot of those young players now have grown with the team and are playing with a kind of cohesion that they played in the finals. That, as you rightfully say, if they play like that, defense as a strong defensive unit in the Premier League, then they could very well stay up in the Premier League and do some special things. The other thing that I thought that he said that was quite special as well, that I took note of, was the fact that he learned from the defeat they suffered to DFB in one of the playoff games leading up to the finals.
And so they made the necessary adjustments. And it didn't seem like DAB were able to adjust when they realized a game plan changed. Like this was the same team they played a few days ago, I think a few days prior to that game. I think it was the Saturday, and the finals was on a Thursday night. And yet it was like a totally different team that they were playing, and they didn't find a way to adjust to deal with that pressure.
Yes, and as he said, he identified the weaknesses, and they went back to practice to work on them, and it definitely paid off.
Bath United
in the finals, in the game that mattered. So kudos to Coach Claxton, and welcome back DAB and Bath to the Premier Division.
Before we go, I want to get your thoughts on DAB quickly. How do you think they will win? This is your second coming to the Premier League.
Yeah, hopefully it could be better than the first time around. Hopefully they can take lessons they learned from the first time in the Premier Division and apply it to this team this time around, and see if they can remain in the division and hopefully go from year to year. But as we are in the Premier Division, it's quite difficult, as we've been always saying, that teams at the top of the division are better than teams at the top of Division 1. So it won't be an easy ride for them, nor for Bath, but if they can remain in division for a year, then they can probably build on the successes over time.
All right. Well, congratulations to Bath and to DAB. Both teams qualified to be promoted to the Premier League. They will be facing the wrath of a lot of the top teams in the league. But it's always exciting to see new teams come up in the Premier League, and hopefully it's not a yo-yo thing where they come up and they go down. We did see, of course, that teams like Trafalgar South Stars, who were promoted for the first time last season, they stayed up. Yeah. And that's a success story. So hopefully for Bath and for DAB, it won't be a situation where they go down, but they can emulate what Trafalgar South Stars did this past season. Just to let our viewers know that we will be having these shows leading up to the return of the Premier League on the 31st of this month. We're looking to have shows every Friday at 11 o'clock with rebroadcasts on SK Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean. So we want you to certainly be part of what we're doing. And feel free to send us comments, questions on the Facebook Live. We can read those comments while we're going live as well. So we'll certainly appreciate your participation in the program. We'll have other ways in which you can interact with us as we go along. Quickly, we want to turn now to women's football, because that also was one of the competitions that closed out the year. We also had some youth football as well, but we'll talk about those at another time. But we want to focus on the women. Village Superstars, they have done what no other women's team has been able to do in the last, 5 or so years, which is to beat the Newtown Football Club women, who have been dominating women's football for several years. And they suffered a defeat, a 1-0 defeat, a very close game. We're going to share that report, and then after that report, we will come right back to provide some analysis to close out the show this week.
A last-minute regulation time goal from Laverne Francis of Rams Village Superstars women gave a decisive and historic title win in the LV Star Brown Women's League Finals on Sunday at the Warner Park over perennial champions Escrave Newtown United FC. The teams were locked 0-0 for most of the match, with Newtown bombing forward and hitting shots after shots with none finding the back of the net. But Village, after absorbing all the pressure for most of 87 minutes, hit Newtown on the counter-attack a minute later, with Francis getting the winning goal to win 1-0. Here's how it went down.
To play extra time.
Going forward. Beating to slide in the box. Pacey can get it back. Pacey can shoot. Shot a goal. Shot in the back of the net. Village has scored in the 90th minute. Village. Who is that player? It looks like Francis.
Oh, what a goal by Village Superstars. As it is now, I don't think we have to go into extra time. It's 90. We are in the 90th minute. Oh, it's a very good goal indeed. The ball bubbling around in the box for a while, and was able to get it over the goal line to give Village Superstars the 1-0 lead. Village Superstars 1 goal to 0.
Commentators Al Edwards and Essington Watts. After the match, coach Fabian Clark of Village Superstars said the girls made him proud and the goal they scored worked according to their strategy.
Words can't explain now. It's about 10 years now we've been fighting and trying to reach to this point, and I'm grateful for the girls them. That's first thing, that they trust me and they was listening to me They did just what I expected them to do and how I expected the game to go. That was the game plan that I needed, and we played on the counter-attack, and it all come together tonight for us.
What you told him at halftime? Because after not getting the goal and still creating opportunities in the first half.
As I tell them, the game plan was stay compact. We expect Newtown to come because the quality what they have. So all we had to do was stay compact and try to plan the counter-attack. That was the only way I think we could have won the game, and as you see, that's how we come out first tonight. And as I say, I'm thankful and grateful for the victory for the girls.
Player of the match is goal scorer Laverne Francis. She spoke about what it is like to win this championship.
I feel real good to be part of the match. I work hard for it, and congrats to my team in winning the first cup ever. That's all I wanted to do, is help them be a champion. Good.
What's it like playing with these girls?
Well, at first it was a little knick-knack, but as we get together and we focus, keep each other happy and talk to each other positively, that's why we win.
Caroline Springer, a village player who previously had a stint with the Newtown women, said she knew the team would try to neutralize her, but it did not work.
Well, it is expected. Newtown, I came from Newtown team, I played with the girls for over a number of years, and they know me well. So it was expected that they would come and try to shut me down, basically, and they tried to do it, but we still get something more.
This is only the third time in the history of women's football that Newtown FC have not won the title. The win for the Village women capped off a winning season for the Village Superstars Club. That weekend, they racked up several wins in youth football. In the Keith Gums Under-17 League Finals, the Village Superstars took on Flow 4G Keon Rockets, defeating them 4-1. Scoring for Keon, Xavier Da Costa in the 65th minute, and the goal scorers for Village, Kajay Burnham, Jabari Willett, and Samani Williams, the latter scoring 2 goals in the 66th and 85th minute. Shervin King was the player of the match. In the Keith Gums Under-17 Shield Finals, Escrave Newtown United, they drew 1-1 with St. Thomas Trinity Strikers at the end of regulation. St. Thomas Trinity Strikers winning on penalties, 4-2.
All right, there you have it, that report there on Village Superstars winning. Your thoughts, LaShawn, on that? What the Village women were able to do to get the better of Newtown?
Well, even beyond beating Newtown, if we go back to the semi-finals, at one point Village were down 4-1 to Keon, and were able to muster a second half comeback, and within 15 minutes were able to. At halftime, they were down 4-1 at halftime, and within 15 minutes, they were able to bring the game level at 4-4 and then beat Keon on penalties, and then to come to the finals and beat a Newtown team that has been dominating this league from since its inception is a big achievement for the Village Superstars female team. As you said in the report, they narrowly defeated Newtown 1-0, but you would always anticipate this Newtown team getting a goal in this competition, but they failed to do so. And Village Superstars, they took advantage of a off night from Newtown, or off season rather, from the Newtown team. So the kudos to them for winning this championship, and hopefully it can bode well for more competition amongst women football in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Well, indeed, on that note, that's how we're going to end the show, though, and I certainly want us to talk. We were going to talk more women's football, because I think, the women's game deserves as much prominence as the men's game as well, especially if we're looking to develop the sport. Mm-hmm. So throughout the program, we'll definitely be talking a bit of women's football as we go along. But that's how we're going to wrap up our first show for 2021. I'm Andre Huey. Thank you, LaShawn, for being a part of the show today. And thank you, the viewers, for watching. Remember, again, you can watch rebroadcast of the show. It will be on our Facebook page, will be on the SKNFA Facebook page, will be on our YouTube channel as well, and will also be on rotation on our website, www.sknewsline.com. We appreciate your comments. You can always send us comments to news@sknewsline.com. And during the live airing of the show, you can also send us your comments on Facebook Live. Or even you could just go back to the live, the broadcast itself, and you could put your comments there, and we'll certainly try and have your comments read for the next show. Again, we appreciate all suggestions as well, so feel free to send us your suggestions. I'm Andre Huey. Thank you again for watching Football Weekly, And on behalf of LaShawn Dixon and all of us here at SK Newsline, we wish you a pleasant day and weekend.